Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and a very warm welcome to everyone joining us today. I'm Prabha, and I welcome you all to the launch of Action for India's AI Plus Impact Cohort. Today is not just the launch of a cohort, it's also a launch of a conviction, as I see, that AI, when guided by purpose, can be a very powerful force for social change. We are honored to be joined by leaders who are shaping the future of AI globally. We have Mark Patel from McKinsey and we have Ori Goshen from AI21 Labs. Both are going to be guest speakers on our session today. Thank you, Mark and Ori, for being here and supporting the innovation that truly matters. AI is often defined by speed, by scale, and by disruption. But the real question that we need to ask today is not what AI can do, but who it's actually built for. At AFI, we strongly believe that AI's true power lies in amplifying human impact, in reaching that last mile, solving deeply rooted social challenges, and also creating opportunity where it's needed most. The startups or the AFI fellows, as we call them, in this cohort reflect that conviction. Today, the startups or the fellows are using AI to address the real problems across multiple sectors, be it healthcare, livelihood, climate resilience, or agriculture. And they're not chasing hype here. They're actually building solutions that are very grounded in purpose, with ethics and impact. So, to our cohort founders and our fellows, congratulations, and you represent this new generation of social entrepreneurs who understand that intelligence without intention is incomplete. And as this cohort begins, we are supported by eminent mentors, our jury, our ecosystem partners, and we all share a very simple but ambitious goal to prove that AI can scale not just innovation but also equity. Because we believe that AI will shape the future, but impact is what defines it. So, welcome to the AI Plus Impact Cohort 2026. So, we have a packed agenda today for 90 minutes. So, Ranjita, if you can share the agenda quickly. Yeah. So after this, we would have our guest speaker coming up, and then we have a set of all our. Ranjita, are you sharing? Yeah. The next slide, please. Yes. Okay, so we have opening remarks by Sanjay, followed by our first keynote address by Mark. And then we would have the cohort startups giving a quick pitch of, what their current startups. And then we have the second keynote address, followed by a brief intro of the rest of the AFI fellows. And then we have some select jury talking. We will open the floor to the jury and followed by vote of thanks. Over to you, Sanjay.
Great. Thank you, Prabha. And again, a warm welcome to all who took time out of the first evening after the long Republic Day weekend to join us here for this AFI session. This really marks an inflection point in the journey of AFI. We've been around for the last 14 years now. And in these 14 years, we've worked with, I think, north of 1,000 social entrepreneurs in sectors including education, healthcare, agriculture, livelihood, fintech, clean tech. And our journey, if you were to kind of looking back in these 14 years, it would be at least two distinct phases, and we are about to enter the third, what I'd like to call as the version 3.0. Our first phase, maybe 2012 to 2019, would have been the initial phase where we are working with entrepreneurs and organizing our annual forums where we convened these 100 leading social entrepreneurs and connected them with 100 influencers, donors, investors, IAS officers, tech executives, policy analysts, and so forth. And then, the top 5 entrepreneurs, we used to take them to Silicon Valley and expose them to the Valley innovation ecosystem. So some of these entrepreneurs could raise money, identify mentors, sign technology partnerships, and so forth. The version 2.0 began, I think, around 2020 at the time of the COVID, when because of the pandemic, we had to put a stop to our annual convenings and pivoted to doing this accelerator cohorts, where we had about 15 to 25 entrepreneurs per cohort, and a couple of cohorts in a year. And we had an opportunity to work with these entrepreneurs in this context for much longer than the 2 days of the forum or the 2 weeks of the Silicon Valley Trek. Here, these entrepreneurs used to be with us for anywhere between 3 to 5 month period. And then, again, be it in terms of helping refine their business models, helping fill gaps in their top management teams, connecting them with their wish list of customers, investors, partners, and so forth. And some of these cohorts were very generic cohorts across all the 6 sectors of focus that we work in. Some of them were women-specific cohorts. And the last couple of cohorts we did actually were sector-specific, in this case, agri-tech focused cohorts. So, but in this version 2.0, it was primarily in the format of these accelerator cohorts. And now, we are entering this, what I call as the version 3.0 of AFI. And this is where we will be focusing on all things at the intersection of AI and impact. Again, most of you know, it's been more than 3 years since ChatGPT announced itself to the world in November of 2022. And in these 3 years, everything has turned topsy-turvy, or everybody and every entity considers itself to be AI this, AI that. But our sincere belief at AFI has been that if we go the extra mile in identifying what are truly genuine AI startups, startups that have access to proprietary data, startups that have deep domain expertise, startups that are pursuing solutions that could not have been pursued but for the recent AI, AGI developments. If we focus on those startups, the scale of impact, the pace of impact would be significantly better, bigger, larger than even working with the tech startups, let alone the non-tech startups. So we have a lot of lot invested in the success of the dozen entrepreneurs that we have selected in this inaugural AI Impact Cohort. And we believe that, in the way that we have, right from the inception, 2 things have been clear at AFI. Whom do we serve? Who is our core customer segment? And that has been right from the beginning, the early stage, technology enabled, for profit, high potential social entrepreneurs of the country. And secondly, what has our mission been? Again, we haven't strayed from that mission right from the very beginning. It's been to how do you identify these startups in the early stages of the scaling journeys, and how do you connect them with resources to help scale the impact of the work? It could be funding, it could be mentors, it could be technology resources, government decision makers, customers. So all of us here at AFI have been blessed with a really strong team. We have Prabhavati, who is our President and Chief Operating Officer based in Bangalore. We have a marketing manager, Prasad Gade. We have a project manager, Pratik Shibani, and we have HR manager, Ranjita. We have a strong team to be able to kind of deliver the programming that we intend for you during the course of your next 3 to 5 months that you'll be with us. And in this time, we will connect you with primary mentor, secondary mentor. We'll organize innovative huddles where it's basically a many-to-one form of mentorship. We will go the extra mile in connecting you with your wish list across these customers, investors, and partners. And if there are a couple of things that have been truly distinguished about AFI, it's been about our global reach. More than any other organization in the impact sector, right from the word go, we realize the importance of connecting our impact entrepreneurs with the global Indian diaspora. Bulk of it has been with the diaspora in the US, particularly in Silicon Valley. And we, along the way, we also had started a chapter in the UK covering London, Cambridge, Oxford. And we have plans to do similar things in other places with a significant Indian diaspora, including Singapore, Dubai. I think these members of the Indian diaspora, remain connected to India. They want to contribute something back. And I think we can leverage their expertise, experience, networks to fuel your scaling journeys. And I truly think that I want to close with one comment that one of my mentors, Desh Deshpande, typically shares to audiences like these. According to him, there are three types of people in the world in the context of the problems that they encounter. One set of people are people who are oblivious to problems. Problems are around, they don't even know that they exist. Second one are the folks who are people who are make complaints about the problems that they encounter. Hey, the government should do this. Hey, my neighbor should do this. Hey, and things like that. They don't take charge of things. And the third one are the people who I think most of the people, be it the 12 entrepreneurs in this cohort or the other people who joined us on this journey, are the people who are energized when they see a problem. And they are not oblivious, they don't complain, they take this as an opportunity to make a difference to the world at large. So all of you deserve a pat on the back to be in that category. You are people who have seen problems. You translated that to be an opportunity, and now you're leveraging technology in this context. AI, AGI technologies to really make a massive impact to make the world a better place. With that, all the very best to you as you make progress with us, and hope you do truly tremendous things for the underserved people of India and the world. Thank you. Next, as per the agenda, I'd like to invite our first keynote speaker, Mark Patel. We are delighted to have Mark with us today. Mark works right where some of the toughest, most consequential challenges meet: climate tech, AI, semiconductors, IoT, advanced manufacturing, you name it. He co-leads McKinsey's platform for climate technologies, founded the global IoT practice, and is a leader in semiconductors. He's helped pinpoint priority technologies for the net zero transition and co-leads a team of over 500 working on scaling them. I'm confident his perspective on scaling complex tech for global impact will resonate with us. Mark, welcome. Ranjita, you can remove the slide and we can
thank you.
Mark in full screen mode.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes. Yeah.
Hopefully you can. I'll apologize. I have a little bit of connectivity challenge. I'm trying to get connected on my other device so that you can see my slides. But and provided I can do that, I'll have something to share with you. I'm just trying to connect. Let's see if it connects. What I wanted to first of all say is I'm honored to be joining you all. It's really a privilege, and I'm delighted to join you all. I do have some slides that I'd like to share, and I was going to share them with you. So let me try and do that now. Hopefully you'll see those. Okay, there we are. Okay. So what I wanted to share with you all was two things. One, since we're talking about this intersection of AI and sustainability and the transformation that comes from it, what I wanted to do was, first of all, talk a little bit about what's driving the challenges that AI presents from a sustainability perspective, and then talk about the opportunity. And I recognize that for most of you, the focus is on how to embrace AI and how to translate that into a set of solutions around sustainability. But I thought it's always helpful to also talk about the challenges it presents, because I also see this as one of the areas where the solutions need to be developed. Let me give you a few quick data points. The first data point is that when we talk about global data center demand, as you probably know, we're in a period of incredible growth. We're going to see the footprint of the data centers increase by about 3 times between now and the end of the decade. We go from around 60 gigawatts of capacity today globally to about 220 gigawatts. That's a fairly unprecedented addition of capacity. And it's driven, as you can see on this page, by the unprecedented growth in workloads associated with AI. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because this represents one of the fastest and most accelerated build-outs of infrastructure that we've seen, if we look at it in terms of dollars invested, it's as a new category of investment in infrastructure, it's faster almost than anything in the last 100 years. And the reason that that is meaningful to us all is because it also presents a challenge and opportunity in the context of the energy footprint that's required to support it. We estimate that globally, the energy demand just to satisfy the expanded data center footprint will be about 1,000 terawatt hours. And so what we're now seeing is that AI is driving a material challenge in terms of the growth in energy demand, along with all of the other factors that are driving a growth in energy demand. Broad electrification, adoption of electric vehicles, all of these are driving dramatic and increased changes in demand profile. Now, when we dig into that, there's actually a couple of quite specific challenges that present themselves. And this is where I think we start to see the themes around sustainability. The first challenge is that whilst we're building out all of this data center infrastructure, the lead time to supply that infrastructure, both with energy and with the compute and the chips and the memory that go into the data center, are all constrained. We tend to think, because of the news cycle today, that everything is a function of GPUs and we don't have enough GPUs. Well, that may be true in the short term, but you can see that the critical lead times on GPUs and on the actual build out of the data center is much shorter than the lead time to actually establish the energy infrastructure that we need. And this is the real challenge. When we talk about adding capacity from a transmission perspective, or when we talk about bringing online sources of energy that are lower in carbon, whether it's nuclear, whether it's solar, whether it's wind, we have a material challenge because the lead times to establish this infrastructure and then feed the data centers is much longer. This is one of the opportunities for us from an AI perspective, because we need technologies that can help us to further optimize energy supply, not just to data centers, but to every other application. And the more that we can do that to support lower energy forms of generation and more efficient transmission, the better that we can accelerate a path towards sustainable AI. This is what I characterize as the time to energy challenge. It really is about finding new ways to unlock this the sources of energy that have the lowest possible carbon impact. Our own projections from within McKinsey, we have what we call the Global Energy Perspective, the JET, suggest that the challenge to satisfy these energy demands is going to be best met by renewable sources. That's why you see here the acceleration in solar, the acceleration in wind, and the expansion in some cases of both onshore and offshore wind. Now, the challenge is they can't come fast enough. So you see that we're also expanding gas supply globally in order to be able to meet the energy demand. What we'd love to do is expand the renewable portion even faster. And that's where there's a role for AI in the energy mix. I'm going to say a little bit more about the technologies that are required to satisfy this. When we look at this, we talk about the electrons and electrification. We also talk about the molecules, the fact that some of this comes from renewable chemicals and sustainable fuels. And we also talk about the circularity technologies that need to be accelerated in order to be able to satisfy this overall picture. And of course, there's also technologies applied to removing carbon in the form of carbon capture and reuse. The reason I wanted to share this is because each of these require a combination of both fundamental technology development, but also have the potential for acceleration dramatically if we're able to apply the tools of AI into this. You know, if I take, for example, sustainable fuels and chemicals, the identification of molecules that can serve as substitutes or alternatives for basic materials, for specialty chemicals and for bulk chemicals to replace our traditional fossil sources. That process has traditionally been quite a painstaking effort. But with the application of AI, obviously, we now have a dramatically accelerated process in terms of selection and testing of chemical compounds, and also the application of those compounds into different application areas. So I use that as one area where we're seeing AI already have significant impact. It's true for almost every one of these areas. And the other area where we're also seeing AI already starting to have significant impact is in the compression of development lead times and development cycles for anything that requires significant process engineering. So when we talk about things like battery development, chemical and physical characteristics of batteries, the application of circular technologies into different material flows, those are again areas where we're seeing AI have a significant role in accelerating these. And for me, that's the most exciting opportunity. It requires taking not just the view of the technology itself, but also where the technology is being applied, because each region has different characteristics. And it requires a robust assessment of the costs of the alternatives and the costs of adoption. And that's the way that we've been approaching it in our analysis. And the ability to apply AI into these problems is essentially moving us much faster into the solution space for each of them. You know, one of the ways we talk about this is to look at what we call bringing technologies into the money and then looking at the lead time to competitiveness. The challenge that many of the technologies that we look at have is that coming down the cost curve, reducing the unit costs, is simply an enormous amount of work. It requires extensive process development. It requires development of local ecosystems, supply chains, offtake markets, each of these things that typically have taken decades or longer to develop when we've been adopting new lower carbon technologies. The exciting potential of AI is to apply it into each of these technologies and see an acceleration. You know, there's some examples that are really quite ambitious that are already underway. We're seeing small nuclear reactors, for example, the potential for acceleration of permitting, the acceleration of deployment much faster now through the application of AI. So when I reflected on the questions for you as a group and what might be important, I wanted to put together some initial thoughts, you know, and I took it in 4 parts. You know, Sanjay had provoked me a little bit on this. One is to say, you know, where are there opportunities around strategically backed technologies that could be specific to a region where you could apply AI to help them go faster? Where are there technologies where we have an opportunity to capture demand from companies that are willing to pay a premium for decarbonized supply? Those that, as a third category, can scale more rapidly to meet a supply shortage. And here, the application of AI can really help in terms of identification of the market opportunity. And then finally, to look at the category where we are really focused on the technologies that still need to come materially down the cost curve. And we're looking for innovation, chemical, physical innovation that can be faster sourced using AI. So that's really the theme for me in terms of where I think we might see more potential for AI and how we could move faster. I wanted to use this to provoke us a little bit. My intention was really to also say, look, as entrepreneurs and as founders, there really is a broad set of applications of AI into these technology areas. The key is actually to find where you can plug in and be part of an ecosystem that's already developing and then help to accelerate those in turn. Okay, I just said an awful lot, so let me pause. Maybe wrap up here.
Thank you, Mark. If anybody has Mark is actually rushing for his next appointment, but maybe 1 or 2 quick short questions.
Absolutely.
If anybody has something to ask, feel free to. As people raise their hands, one quick question, Mark. Again, these are all startups based in India, focused on India. In terms of whatever are the global developments, and if you want to filter it through the India lens, Are there any
Yeah.
specific macro factors that even India-based entrepreneurs need to focus their attention on? I mean, all this
Well,
talk about the bubble, all this, Dario Amori just released a big essay again in terms of from the safety standpoint. Are all those things relevant, or can we be like a
great question.
ostrich and put our head in the ground and focus on other things?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know that they're not relevant. I have two themes that I think are particularly interesting from an India perspective. One, of course, is how do we marry what I was just talking about with the solutions for adaptation and resilience in the face of climate change. And I didn't have that on my slides, but I think it is a very important theme. I think in India you have such a range of climate impacts that have the potential to affect productivity, but which also lend themselves to real solutions being developed. Again, AI based or with the help of AI. So I think that's one theme where, and I say it in the spirit of India leading the world, which is frankly for me the aspiration to have. I think there are opportunities to understand the challenges, develop solutions, and then take them more broadly around the world. That's also my theme for, I think, what you have, which is a particularly ambitious and accelerated energy transition in India that is also an opportunity to lean forward in the application of some of the technologies that I talked about, but again, with the application of AI to that. So let me give an example. Yes, we have significant lead in China around solar manufacturing, but in terms of solar deployment, obviously in India you have incredible pace and an incredible scale of development. And I think that creates opportunities to say, okay, where is the AI, whether it's robotics, whether it's physical AI, that's being applied to optimize, to maintain, to accelerate deployment that could then also be developed in India and then taken beyond India as a market opportunity. And those are a couple of themes that I'd be most interested in.
Wonderful. One final question. Rajiv Sharma has written, what are the top 3 opportunities emerging for the AI plus impact startups because of the landmark EU treaty that's about to be signed or has recently been signed?
I'll make sure I understand which landmark EU treaty are you about.
Yeah, this is something that the EU president has been talking about. Rajiv, do you want to speak up?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rajiv.
No, thanks, Sanjay. Actually, I'm traveling, but let me try to quickly.
Yeah.
So basically, there have been number of sectors which would get impacted or benefited because of the mutually beneficial treaty which has been signed today, almost opening up 25% of the global GDP available to 2 billion people across those countries. Now, for young startups over here who are looking at markets, looking at low-hanging fruits, looking at commercializing their ideas, what would be the key areas where they can look at in terms of the impact coming because of the treaty today?
Exactly. I think, as you said, Rajiv, you've obviously created a much more level playing field from a trade perspective, and so does that create opportunities. I think I'll tell you what I think. I don't know that I have the top 3, but I'll give you my 2 thoughts. One, in Europe, there is a fundamental competitiveness challenge. The lead time to develop products, the cost of developing and deploying products, and the unit cost economics are fundamentally now under massive pressure from China. I think we all see that, right? With whether it's electric vehicles, whether it's residential or industrial systems and subsystems. I think that is one area of opportunity to look at and to say, what are the areas where you can introduce capability, develop together that could reset the competitiveness of Europe? For example, hardware and software systems together. Is there an opportunity to have either software development or co-development on much accelerated product cycles? I spend a lot of time in semiconductor space, helping to restore competitiveness into the European semiconductor industry, for example, is a combination of how do you get to faster innovation, but also how do you help to develop products much faster? So I think that is distinctly one area. The other I would say is marrying market demand. So does this give an opportunity to look at Indian markets, which are growing in terms of size and demand very quickly, partnered with European markets for the same products that are already mature, where you can start to view them as a common customer base, which I can tell you from many of the clients I work with, that was historically not the case, but is increasingly the case for European players who are looking to the India market to be much closer to their European market. Good. It's a great question though, because I think there's a lot more to dig into there, given the agreement.
Great.
Thanks, Mark. I think this is an emerging space to watch out closely. Thank you so much.
I agree. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mark. We are already
apologize.
10 minutes over into your next appointment. So thank you for, despite
Thank
the
you.
connectivity issues, staying with us
Yeah.
and completing your
Of
presentation.
course. Thank you for the patience. I apologize for that.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Cool.
Thanks.
So Prasad, let's go on to the next section of the.
Yeah.
We'll begin with this. I think the social
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Sorry, Bonnie. Bonnie raised his hand, but because of
Yeah, if you
the
can,
time
yeah,
constraint.
just jot it in the
Yeah.
thing that we
Yeah.
will get back to him again. Yeah.
Yeah. Pratik, over to you.
The most important part, of course, the brief of all the SEs who have joined this cohort after I will say a complex selection we have made, and I would like to now invite two startups to just quickly brief. So to start with, we have first as a Tristle Labs. So Boni,
Yeah.
if you can just quickly brief, yeah,
Yeah, if you can hear me good. Hello, everyone.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me and wonderful listening to Mark. I was raising my hand, but I'll reserve that question for the next guest speaker. So, yeah, my name is Bonnie. I'm the co-founder of Trestle Labs Kibo. We are an AI tech company focusing on, or rather specializing in the intelligent document processing space. Basically, we extract data from documents and multimedia for enterprises who typically handle large amounts of unstructured, multilingual, handwritten documents, especially in the banking and financial insurance and services industry. Our DNA continues to be impact, which is what we started out with, because back in 2017, when one of my friends lost her eyesight during her first year of college, I wanted to make sure that she's able to read the printed books or that she gets from her university in real time, and she doesn't have to wait for somebody else to read it out to her. So that's how I got into this entire space of extracting data from documents and then converting into audio for her. And over the 4 years or the 5 years that we were building that same tech, and up until the pivot, not I wouldn't say the pivot, but I think the expansion of the entire capability of the tech that we had built came after our Shark Tank India episode. So after the episode was aired, there were a lot of banks and insurance companies who reached out and said, "Hey, can you help us with our document data extraction and workflow automation?" So with impact at its heart, AI at its core, Kibo, which is our product, it's called Knowledge in a Box, helps businesses and organizations with their data intelligent document processing.
Thanks. I guess we can move. Ranjita, you can, yeah. Next, we have Samita from Resilience AI. I guess from the team Omkar has joined. Yeah. Yeah.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Fantastic. No, thank you so much. I believe we have one photograph missing. I also represent my co-founder Sandeep Reddy Malu and the team of which Omkar is in the room. Resilience 360 is primarily being built as a disaster management system, which is applicable for all natural disasters such as flood, earthquake, which a lot of us are familiar with in the room. There are very few of us who have not experienced or do not have lived experience of natural disasters in our life. It also does not discriminate any geography. Today, US, India, and Philippines are the top 3 countries that are trailing in natural disaster with an expected loss of more than $200 million in 2025 by the time, and it's counting. Now, if we have to solve for natural disasters, we have to solve it using scientific evidence, but we will also have to solve it using AI ML so that it is simplified for all our users. And we are solving this problem for both governments as well as private sector who are getting impacted by a natural disaster event with the help of giving a solution where you can prepare before the event actually occurs. You can respond when the event occurs, and finally help with your financial planning for recovery as well as for making your financial planning more robust. It's a systemic solve, single window system, login and logword, and we are more than happy to share with you. Today we are endorsed by Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India as an accredited disaster management system. We are also very humbled to have support from Google accelerators, programs like Riot in the US, and we are now expanding ourselves to both US and Philippines. Thank you so much for having us today.
Thanks. Next, we can have Nemo Care Wellness. Manoj, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Hi, everyone. I'm Manoj, co-founder of Nemo Care Wellness. We are a startup focused on revolutionizing newborn care. So our journey started back in 2017, actually, where we were part of a biodesign fellowship where we tried to understand problems in the healthcare space. We realized that maternal child health is one big area for which had room for improvement. So we did a year-long research and detailed study and came up with our flagship product, the NemoCare Raksha, which is a smart wearable backed by our AI engine to track the vitals and wellness of a newborn baby and also give predictions on when a baby is likely to fall sick. So that's the work that we've been on for the last close to 8 years. And we've also been a part of AFI Silicon Valley Trek in the past. So we've been associated with AFI in the 1.0 journey as well. Looking forward to learning from peers and also structuring our GTM towards a global scale up. Thanks for the opportunity.
Okay. Next, we can have Inaugural. Shobana. I guess your voice is
Hello.
breaking.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry for the external noise. Firstly, thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Shobana, we cannot hear you. Maybe you can keep your
And a
camera.
deep tech startup providing solution and also for the awesome researchers. Is my voice audible?
Yeah, you can keep your camera off. That will help you.
All right.
Yeah.
So we are closely working with the government bodies like fishing industry, coast guards, and also for the ocean researchers. Basically, we developed a kind of underwater device called Swansea, which will go along with the marine kind of plug and play along with the boats. And also, like we are providing a kind of solution for the aquaculture and also for the water bodies because this particular domain doesn't have a kind of digitalization. So we are addressing this particular problem. And also, like we hold nearly 26 IPs, and we are the very first company deployed 5G on ocean and awarded by Department of Telecommunication. And our solution recently documented by Netflix, and we got selected by PSA, that is Principal Scientific Advisory, as a top 8 companies, and Netflix actually document our product also. So if you have time, kindly go through that. So we'd be happy. And we are very much happy in this particular cohort. We are looking forward for more insightful session. Thank you.
Yeah. Next, we can have Akshay. Akshay, can you hear us, Akshay? Or anyone from Synchroner Energy? I guess we have to move next. Ranjita, please. Yeah. Next, we can have from Save Mom. Senthil.
Hello everyone. I'm Senthil Kumar. I'm a co-founder and CEO of Save Mom. At Save Mom, we are building an AI-based platform to monitor pregnant women and children for the first 1,000-day period. We were closely working with the World Health Organization. We have digitized this WHO's 1,000-day care program in a workflow model. We working with various state government and onboarded more than 3 lakh plus pregnant women into our platform. We monitor the mother and children for the first 1,000-day period. Using our AI, we identify any type of high-risk pregnancy at early stage. Our innovation of this 1,000-day model is case studied by Harvard Business School. Recently, our new innovation, which uses the model, when a baby cries, the model can translate the cry into the language and find 5 type of cry. So when a baby cries in our solution, we will translate and tell the new parent, "Mom, I'm hungry now. Mom, I want to go for a sleep. Mom, I have a pain in the stomach." So all different type of cry we analyze using our AI model. If there is any abnormal cry, we directly send this data to the pediatrician for a quick action. This become one of the impactful case study of AI use case by Google, and it got featured in Google Cloud Next event in last year. We currently working with Karnataka, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh state government to deploy 1,000-day care program in all these remote places and then urban area. And we were so excited to be part of this, this cohort.
Thanks. I guess we can move next. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Ori are you still with us, Ori?
Yeah, I'm here.
Wonderful. Great. All right. Let me take a quick minute to introduce Ori. It's a real pleasure to welcome Ori Goshen, co-founder and co-CEO of AI21 Labs. Ori is a remarkable entrepreneur and is helming one of Israel's most robust and respected AI companies, AI21. AI21 was founded by a stellar group of AI pioneers and has since grown into Israel's largest AI talent hub. I'm really amazed at the kind of talent they've accumulated over the last few years, with a team that includes over 100 PhDs or MS or ex-Israeli intelligence members with deep engineering expertise. The company has been raised multiple rounds of funding. As per according to the last round of funding, the company has raised well over $200 million and is valued at north of $1 billion, and is backed by leading global investors including Google, Nvidia, Intel Capital, and Comcast Ventures. More importantly, AI21 is helping enterprises move generative AI from experimentation into real-world production scale impact. I'm confident Ori will have tremendous insights to share with our social entrepreneurs today, especially on what truly matters as you think about building, scaling, and deploying AI in meaningful ways. Ori, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Sanjay. Thank you for having me. It's a great honor and a privilege to speak in front of you all. And thank you for the kind words. I hope I can get them in writing so I can show it to my wife. So yeah, I think the best way to describe kind of the do's and don'ts is through telling the journey, our story of AI21. And as Sanjay presented, we are known for being the AI frontier company in Israel. We cornered the market in terms of the AI talent in Israel. We also started the company pretty early in this super cycle that we are all experiencing right now, and we are all wrapping our heads around right now. So I think I'll start chronologically. We started the company back in 2017, really the beginnings of this AI boom. And it was we actually started the company the same month the paper "Attention is All You Need" was published. That was the paper that introduced the transformer architecture, which is basically powering all these large language models and generative models that we are now all experiencing today. So it was kind of a pivotal moment. And when we started the company, myself and my two partners, one of them is Yoav Shoam. Yoav was a professor at Stanford for many years. And he actually ran the AI lab at Stanford and started several AI companies. And our third co-founder is Amnon Shashua, who's known for being the founder and CEO of Mobileye, the autonomous driving company. And Amnon is also an established machine learning professor. He's a professor here at Hebrew U. So I always joke that it's like me and the professors, we started this AI company. And the idea was to build an Israeli AI company and to take AI to its next phase which I'll speak about, and that's the name AI21, AI for the 21st century. And so our kind of the thesis of the company in many ways is more relevant today than it was when we started it. And that's why I think our journey is so interesting. When we started the company back in 2017, our thought was deep learning is going to be a big wave. It's definitely going to be a substantial piece of technology, but it's necessary but not sufficient. If you think about truly reliable AI, not one that is derived purely from statistics or from learning patterns from data, but if you think about AI that can make kind of reliable logical inferences or deductions, then you need to complement the statistical nature of deep learning with other technologies to compensate for that nature. So that was a really abstract way we thought, okay, this is a technology, even if we scale it, it's going to have some flaws. So we need to be the AI lab in the world that really thinks through and deep this problem to take AI to its next phase. And I think it's a very interesting because most companies, including the ones I think that were presented here, you start, and that's a healthy way to start a company. You start with the problem, right? What is the problem you're trying to solve? What are the customers you're actually serving? What problems you're solving for them? But in our case, we've really kind of looked at the technological shifts, and we say, okay, we want to play a pivotal role in these technological shifts. And by the way, that's if you're trying to frame this in another way, the idea was to kind of go from neural to what people may call neural symbolic, where you have this pure statistical play with a more deterministic, symbolic way of reasoning about things. And I think nowadays people realize that this is actually a path moving forward, not just scaling the models and using more sophisticated techniques for the models, but also actually use symbolic methods to do some of the computation that is needed in order to get to a place where we can trust these systems. They make them more interpretable, more trustworthy, and more useful. So that is kind of the overarching context. But we've been through a journey, and I'd like to pinpoint a few kind of yardsticks in that journey. So if I go back in time, in the first 3-4 years of the company, we were a pure AI research lab, and we published papers, and we built a team. We tried to concentrate the AI talent in Israel. That was one of our goals, and indeed that created a lot of benefits moving forward. But back in 2020, 2021, we thought, well, this technology needs to be commercialized, and we start seeing, the usefulness that is coming from these, AI models. I don't think back then they were even not called large language models, but we were starting to see the usefulness of these models, and we said where this could be applied. And the first thing that came to mind is to reading and writing, because these models are really good at just taking a context and rephrasing it, or taking a context and distilling and synthesizing information from it. So we want to reinvent how people read and write. And back in 2021, we released an application called WordTune, and it was a massive hit. We went in just a couple of years. We went from 0 to tens of millions of users, and about tens of millions, in about 20 million in ARR, which is, it's I think it was very impressive growth. And at the same time, we realized that we need to own our own destiny and create our own models. So back in, I think it was mid 2021, we published our first large language model called Jurassic One. Back at the time, it was slightly bigger, slightly better in some aspects from GPT-3, back then the leading model from OpenAI. And it was a very interesting chutzpah moment. How come 40 people in a pretty lousy office in Israel dare to fight OpenAI and train a 178 billion parameter model, right? So we were actually engaging with one of the hyperscalers, and they were kind enough to give us a 98.5% discount to train that model because we had that chutzpah. So they actually came with a very a great offer. We did not have the funds. We did not have hundreds of millions or billions of dollars to fund that compute, but we got them excited about the vision on what's possible. So we were able, in few months after GPT-3 came out, to introduce Jurassic One. That was the first model. And throughout the journey, when ChatGPT came out, and of course that was an eye-opening moment and a game-changing moment for the entire industry. I mean, everybody uses, on the consumer side, everybody uses these generative AI tools. That kind of we led us to a strategic question whether we want to keep playing on the consumer space with WordTune, or do we want to pivot. And while we kept growing the business, about 2 years ago, we decided that we need to make a pivot. We need to change. We need to go back to our origins, where we wanted to create robust AI systems that enterprises can trust. Because again, if you think about, if I'm doing homework, then the cost of doing error is not that high. But if I'm trying to underwrite an insurance policy, or to make a financial analysis and make a critical decision, the cost of error is very high. And these probabilistic systems, they're not good enough. They're good enough for demos and POCs and experiments, but they're not good enough for these very mission critical applications. So the pivot we've done in the last couple of years was, hey, we need to leverage the model layer, which keeps evolving, and we see the frontier AI labs keep pushing better and more performant models. You also have the huge open source models wave from China and the rest of the world. So our job would be how to basically leverage those capabilities, but robustify them, make the harness that can actually put these models into production, create these autonomous systems, but for mission critical applications. So about a couple of years ago, we've made that change. And nowadays, we work with Fortune 500 organizations across the world. We only look at one metric. That's the metric that we're interested in, where how many of these mission critical workloads that were very challenging for enterprise to get to production, how many of them we succeeded to take to production. That's that's the metric we care about. And of course, with that metric comes what's the ROI, what's the kind of value that the customers are extracting from those solutions. So nowadays, kind of fast forward to today, nowadays the company is about 200 employees. We have presence in the US, in Europe, in a few locations. working very closely. We have a platform that is called Maestro. It's basically orchestrating these models and helping customers to build those reliable agentic systems. And there's our solution engineering teams that work very closely with these customers to make sure they actually succeed in that journey. Um, so that's the company. I probably I'm over time, but that's kind of in a snapshot the journey that we've been through, and we're very proud in being one of the very few companies in the world that actually work on the model layer, but also on the scaffolding layer, and keeps innovating and creating this fundamental technology with a focus on the enterprise market. I think this is an underserved market right now, and the applications in that market are very exciting, and we are, as a company, we're just very excited to be in this very unique position. So I hope it gave you a taste. There's so many challenges within this journey about hiring and fundraising and so on. Thank you. But would love to hear your questions and take it from there. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ori. Yeah, there might be time for here 2 or 3 questions. Bonnie had a question. Bonnie, do you want to read it out?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, Sanjay, thank you so much. I'll thank AFI because, this is one of those moments where somebody you really keep reading about on the internet, blogs, articles, and then you get to hear from the man himself. So thank you for having Ori as a part of this session. Ori, so I was following Amit Mondelbaum. Sorry for the tennis. I was following him, and then he had joined AI21 Labs. That's how I got introduced and been. So I have an aspiration of building AI21 Labs for India, right? Because not only being inspired by your journey, but also from the fact that nations do need to have and retain that sovereignty in the models that they have. I really back your thought on the increasing open source contributions. I think really decentralization of all those models. For me, I was really looking forward to this. My mind is kind of just bouncing around with multiple things. Okay, so I had put a couple of questions also that I wanted your quick thoughts on. Was how would you define the competitiveness in the AI age or this era, right? Because earlier people used to have very strategic modes, but now it's like every week, you'll be questioned, oh, how are you still competitive in these markets? How do you define that? And then a quick thought on uh, the future of companies in the AI area. Do you see more of VC-backed companies solving for enterprise, or do you also see a rise of small little bootstrap companies also making a dent in this entire enterprise ecosystem? So thank you and your
Uh,
thoughts.
Both great questions. So, um, so f- First on the competitiveness, I think it's important to realize that we're in a very special moment in time. I think people think about this moment in time as a land grab, but it's actually more of a land formation where you have tectonic shifts on a almost monthly basis. Things change very rapidly in this space, and as we say in the company, you have to run to stay in place. So, but to give you a sense of how we view the market and the world, I think first, um, you have kind of, you zoom out, you have the consumer market, where everybody, the adoption is on the rise. It's pretty insane, and I think it's not quite a winner take all, but there would be a concentration, right? There would be almost like a Google type of winner in that space, and in that particular race. Um, and I think one way to frame it is that the battle over the consumer is going to be who is going to be the super app, who's going to be the app of all. right? And the contenders are pretty obvious. You have Google, you have OpenAI in that race. You have XAI to some extent, and there is a tail of others, including Perplexity. So I think that's one area of the market. The other one is the enterprise, which is very different. And also the dynamics in the enterprise are very different because there's always room for several vendors. If you think about enterprise software, it's not a winner take all. Every vendor, like if you think about databases, right? How many companies produce databases, right? There's a room for all these companies. So I think the dynamics between the consumer and kind of the super op, winner take all versus the enterprise, which is more um, more there's there's room for many players. I think that's one difference to think of. And the second thing I would, when you zoom in into the enterprise market, enterprise AI market, then you basically have two um, large buckets. You have the applications, the AI applications, like the Harveys of the world and the Clay of the world, and Claude Code of the world, Cursor, etc. And this is I think the most growing market you're seeing right now in the enterprise. You have apps that are basically surrounded around very specific types of workflows, very repeatable and applicable for many firms, and that's why we see a huge uplift there. But I think that there's a second bucket of custom solutions or custom AI solutions. I think every company in the world will need its own AI, right? That is customized to their business, that leverages some, or at least tries to get some level of competitive advantage. So it will need to incorporate the unique data of the enterprise. It will need to incorporate the unique workflow, the unique secret sauce, etc. That second bucket will be a market of tools, and people think about these as models that are consumed in APIs these days, but it's actually frameworks and tools that help companies create more and more applications at scale. So this is a second bucket. This is the bucket we're playing in, and we very much believe this is going to be a growing category. And almost every company in the world, we need to purchase some technologies to help them accelerate the development of AI applications in their own enterprises. So that's how we view the competitiveness, but it's not for the weak-hearted. It's changing really on a weekly basis, and you need to kind of keep revising your beliefs on the market to operate effectively. And for your second question about the VCs, I think there is definitely room. Capital is always a barrier. I mean, there are players that would need to be accelerated in the market. But I think we'll see more and more interesting new models. I think, new type of funding models. I think we will see big companies that are established or operated by individuals because of the capacities and tools that we have today, and maybe even self-funded or funded, by just growing customers. I think we're going to see some surprising elements, but I don't see like VCs or venture capital in general, being obsolete. We will still need ways to put capital in and accelerate, excellent teams, and let them penetrate the market and scaling the market they're operating in.
Okay. Again, I'm looking at the clock here, trying to move things along. I know Ori also has a hard stop in another 15, 20 minutes.
Yes.
So I would definitely want him to listen to the remaining set of startups. But one question briefly, Ori, before the next person comes on board.
Yeah.
Again, yeah, in be it the tech startups, non-tech startups, AI startups, at the end of the day, any startup has still got to do at least four of these things, right? They're trying to build product, they're trying to raise money, they're trying to build a team, they're trying to acquire customers. How does AI change the game on these dimensions? Any quick off the cuff thoughts there?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, AI changes companies, organizations from the very ground up. I'll tell you, in our company, we are build when we build or revise our org chart, we're not just putting people in the org chart, but we also we put the agentic systems or the agents in the org chart. And it's not because we are saying, oh, we'll put this agent and that will replace 10 other people. No, it's attached to people. It's always about that combination. So I think it really, really change how companies operate on all fronts. And I think what we at least strive for is to be able to be in a world where these agent systems are so sophisticated, where they actually can help us drive not just cutting the mundane and sending messages or kind of automate some specific workflows, but actually help us make strategic decisions. I mean, as a CEO, I'm making tens of decisions every day. Some of them are more tactical, but others are pretty strategic. I would love to have and kind of agentic assistant that simulates different, like have a rich understanding of the context of the organization and simulates different scenarios analysis to help me make more informed decision, right? So this is just an example, and I think it applies on all fronts. Like, how do we acquire customers? How do we, go after, strategize, and go after our next funding round? How do we build our products, and what features, are we building, and how are we conducting market research? All of these fronts are going to be dramatically affected by the revolution we're experiencing right now.
Good. Wonderful. Thank you for those insights. Pratik, let's go ahead, and I would love for Ori to listen to these last 5 or 6 entrepreneurs before he leaves, if that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead,
Thanks,
Pratik.
Ori. Next, we can have quickly Oros Health. Amit, you
Perfect.
there? Yeah.
Yep. Good morning, everyone. My name is Amit Patel. I'm the founder of Oros Health. And think of Oros, it sits at the intersection of AI, mental health, and this massive unmet demand. Mental health care is fundamentally supply constrained. And there just aren't enough mental health professionals out there in the world, especially in markets like India and Southeast Asia. And yet that need, the demand, it's immediate, it's personal, it's constant, it's ever growing, right? The demand is going up and right on a steep curve, and the mental support is not growing nearly at the same pace. And so we use AI to help close that gap a little bit. Oros it provides this always available, personalized mental health support, and it's positioned more as a companion and a bridge to care, not necessarily a replacement for clinicians themselves. It's accessible, it's culturally aware, and it's available exactly when people really need it, right? When 2 a.m., when you're by yourself and your mind is wandering and you've got nobody else to reach out to, no friends or family, Oros Health is always there. We launched in India, only in India right now. We're averaging about 30,000 net new users on the platform every single month, so it's growing pretty well. We're looking to expand through Southeast Asia, and we believe as Oros becomes the default mental health entry point for hundreds of millions of people globally, AI is really what's going to help make that possible. So looking forward to this cohort and learning from my fellow peers. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Jita, can you move next? Yeah. Next, we can have Care Health Services.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Hi, good evening. My name is Chandramouli. I'm the founder of Care Health Tech Services. We are building a smartphone-based AI health screening and care platform that helps detect health risks early and connects people to the doctors for treatment. At the core, we are building a AI screening tool like Heart AI and Oral AI that just uses a phone camera to analyze biological signals from the face and the mouth without any wearables or sensors or medical devices. Heart AI screens for cardiovascular risk indicators such as heart rate, blood pressure, and oxygen levels, while Oral AI screens for oral lesions and early signs of oral disease and other intraoral images. Our vision is to build and make a smartphone a comprehensive device which can detect various kind of health related issues. Right now, as I said, we built heart and the oral. We also vision to build for skin, for lung, and also eye in the future. So any health worker who takes the mobile device into a remote area, he or she should be able to screen um, the communities without any need of a robust device. Additionally, we are also building a new wearable device, a flagship model, where it'll basically it's a multi-sensor fusion monitoring, continuous monitoring and tracking device. We already received a patent, and we have applied for a patent. We also received a CDSO. CDSO certifications. We also raised grant for this. It's an alignment to what we are building in care. And I think through this cohort, I am looking forward to learning from my peers and also improvising and improving our technology as well as models together. Thank you so much.
Yeah, next we can have Exposon.
Yeah. Thanks, Action for India, for this opportunity. Hi, myself Pradeep, and we are basically a startup working in agriculture sector. Our main focus was to deliver value-based advisory service to the farmer. So we are using AI as well as satellite intelligence platform for delivering these services. So as a whole approach, we collect data points from different sectors, is specifically related to weather-related information as well as satellite-derived indices information. We combine this and developing an AI model which will facilitate the farmer to have an early advisory service. So they can prevent their loss and they can plan their fertilizer and other kind of applications in a precision farming method. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. Next we can have DB.
Yeah, hi. I hope I'm audible. As I am situated right now in a bit remote location in the northeastern part of India. So I am Rajat Kumar Mala. I am the founder and CEO of this company called DBAI, where we build voice AI agents. We have our in-house models of STT, TTS, and we have used small language models to train better data or to decrease the latency and kind of improve us compared to the RAG system that is exists. So we have served quite some few enterprises here in India and also in the UK. Recently, we have closed an IPO-based enterprise in India, IPO staged enterprise, and they were looking for a voice solution for to automate their entire system or entire outreach system. And they had decided to go with a YC-based company, a very renowned AI voice AI company. And then I started to talk to them, explain them how our product is. What why am I bringing this up is just to showcase the idea that things built for India has got a lot of exclusive layers where you can compete sitting in any part of the country or anywhere in the world. You can compete with some of the best solutions that is there in the market. So we showcase them a proprietary memory system. Like usually what happens is whenever the call gets lengthy, you will start to miss the flow. You jump the flow will be missed. So here the conversation is bit messy here in India with the clients out here. The accent is very different. There are n number of accents which usually doesn't work out. So having done that, having showcased that, we did close that. With that, our main game was to build a voice AI system for a large number of Indian rural people where the dialect issue was too high. So the SHGs, or the self-help groups, or the farmer producer organizations and groups like that. So they are a very big number. It's like 120 million people associated with these organizations. Now, there was no other way. There is no other way to outreach so many people in a country like India, and voice AI is a very perfectly positioned
Sorry, Rajat, we
system
have
that
to
we
cut
found.
short. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
can
okay.
quickly
So
cover that. Yeah.
yeah, so that was it. So that was it. It's like just to showcase is that uh, yeah, we are building voice AI agents for Indian clients. Yeah,
Thank
that's how it is. Yeah.
Next, we can have one straight.
Hello everyone, Ronak this side from Wondersite. My colleague's name is mentioned, so since she was not available, I'll just pitch in. So, with Wondersite, we are building AI and VR powered rehabilitation platform for hospitals, clinics, and healthcare systems. We are primarily digitizing physical and mental health therapy protocols using tech as a medium to digitize some of these workflows. One example is uh, physical therapy. We are using AI to create screening reports for physical movement. And we also continue. So we started with building virtual reality based interventions for psychiatry, mental health, and then have recently expanded into physical therapy as well. Yeah, that's it about us. Thank you.
Yeah. Next, we can have Shikha Gupta.
Uh, Firstly, thank you, AFI, for having me here and giving me this opportunity. So, we are a startup called iSetu, which basically looks at delivering advanced home eye care to the patients' homes or their doorsteps. So, the problem with eye care was that even now in India and in globally, around in India, 10 million people they remain undetected for glaucoma and as equal number for diabetic retinopathy till they reach late stages. It is because of the low awareness and poor symptoms. The symptoms are not there in the initial stages. So we came up with this protocol that we'll take home eye care kits that we have developed, and the team of optometrists goes to the patient's homes, and through the app that we have developed, which is AI powered, all the images are shared real time to the consulting doctor, and the treatment is delivered online. So we are using AI to make multimodal PINN networks so that the teleconsulting doctor comes at the last stage when it is flagged by the AI systems that it is normal or abnormal. So this kind of device can be used in underserved areas like tribal areas and the border areas where the help is very delayed to prevent visual impairment and blindness in the long run. Thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah. So now it's time for a jury speak. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all the startups. I would like to specially thanks as we move towards the end of this session. Uh, Jury panel members who shared their insights, gave their time, and helped us in evaluating the top 12 startups that we are seeing today. So I request jury members to share their experiences also. Veera, Prakash Gupta.
I can go first. This is Veera.
Yes,
So first
Veera.
of all, I'm glad to see this time the cohort from AFI has diverse social impact motives, starting from climate change to disaster management to mental health to baby health to energy saving, agriculture, aquaculture. So it's a real good diversity in the AI impact. That is the best part of this selection that I felt good about it, and I wish all these startups best of focus on maximum impact as well as the growth and profitability that you need to go to a higher level of scale and growth. So very happy to be helping some of you. So looking forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Veera. Prakash.
Is Prakash there?
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, as he comes on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of our AFI board members are also on the call. There's Amit Jain and Satish Pillai. If you want to have a quick word, Amit, Satish.
Yeah, Sanjay, this is an eclectic, group of people who are entrepreneurs and who are kind of driving AI now to all those areas, proven areas though, in terms of healthcare, agri-tech, child health, mental health, etc. And of course, the pace and the innovation that they are bringing in is unprecedented. And I have noted down some of the areas where I may be interested in talking more to almost each of them, and especially looking at you know, assistance or advice or guidance areas in terms of scaling up, in terms of expansion, in terms of collaborations, and in terms of adoption by the public sector as well, so that they get initial traction, proof of concepts, and prove it in those areas where it may be needed most, in case there are not fully paying customers all along. So I'm very excited about this discussion, and I would suggest here that in the subsequent similar cohort inaugurations, we might also look at budgeting a little bit more time for each of our entrepreneurs, so that we hear and listen to them more, and also allocate justifiable proportionate time for the keynote speakers. Yeah, thanks.
Sure.
And good
Noted,
luck
Amit.
to all fellow entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Amit. Yeah, Satish said he's on mute. He cannot join us, but he's given some comments there. I'd like to invite Himanshi for just a few words. He's been a core member of our volunteer task force for the AI work that you've been doing, which has been involved with AFI for long. Himanshi.
Thank you so much, sir. This was, first of all, thank you for calling me here. This platform is always very special to me because there's such good work happening. Very exciting to hear everybody speak here. I do want to speak to some of the entrepreneurs here because I mean, just to give a brief introduction, I work as government affairs manager for a group of companies called Relics Group, and I have been working with AFI for almost a year now, so I think since we last connected. And it was such a pleasure to connect with you because just opened this whole world up to me. So there are a lot of opportunities since I work with the government in the policy ecosystem. And as somebody mentioned, the EU-India FTA agreement today, we were there and there was significant, excitement there. And there are, of course, many advantages to come for especially, companies that are building technologies and services in India. There's a whole market that's going to open up to them, which is going to get easier to access. And for India specifically, the Indian government has been dealing with a lot of issues that they think can be solved using AI. And I see a lot of startups here that can potentially, be connected to those government organizations that do need some of these solutions, and I know a lot of startups are already working on that, and that's, just amazing. So, but I would be happy to speak to, some of the startups and help them connect to whoever I can and
Lovely.
be along for this journey. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Himanshi. I just want to, again, there are a couple of people who've dialed in from the US and they're potential mentors to some of the startups. Gopal, if you're there, a few words from you. And then, maybe Prerna, if you're available, you can also share a few words. But first, Gopal.
Yeah, thanks, Sanjay. In the interest of time, very, very pleased to meet you all and impressed at the breadth of the topics. Other people covered that climate tech, healthcare. There's so many important topics, and I'm really looking forward to gathering more and see how I can help.
Lovely. And Gopal, just a word about your what you do in the Washington DC area.
I live in the DC area. I'm an independent consultant on technology strategy, and I work on AI robotics consulting. And I've been in the mobile tech industry for 30 plus years. I've been in Verizon, which is a global telco, for about 18 years as an executive. And then prior to that, I was building handsets.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gopal. And Prerna?
Hi, everyone. It's It's been lovely to spend this morning with you. I'm in the New York metropolitan area, and I've been associated with Action for India since before its inception. So
Yes, yes.
yes,
Yeah.
so it's absolutely lovely to hear from all these social entrepreneurs. I have a background in mainstream management consulting, and after that, several years in the public policy and social development space. And now I'm transitioning to the impact investing space, leveraging my past two backgrounds. So I'm looking forward to talking to some of these entrepreneurs in more in depth and seeing how I can help out. All the best, everyone.
Thank you, Prerna. Yeah, again, in the interest of time, we're run out by a few minutes. But anybody else whom I did not call who'd
Yeah.
like to, say something to the entrepreneurs,
Prakash
welcoming
Gupta.
them into the cohort?
Yeah.
Did we manage to get Prakash
Yeah.
Prasad?
Hello,
Prakash?
everyone.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, great. So great to be there here. Thanks, Bhanu, for introducing me, and and great to be here. So I primarily work. I was in the technology space for almost more than 2 decades. I did my master's at Oxford, and in the last 2 years, been working closely with the Principal Scientific Advisor Office as well as as an advisor, as shaping the research ecosystem in the academia. And in parallel, I'm also doing a lot of work in the AI governance layer. So I'm really happy to meet these startups and hoping I can contribute to this cohort.
Wonderful. Thank you, Prakash. Now the slide that we had, Prasad, the AI Advisory Council. Was there anybody else who wanted to say something? Just check, Prasad. Do you see any raised hands or anything?
No, Sanjay.
Okay, yeah, we will
Rajita, next.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a AI advisory council that we had set up, AI Impact Advisory Council. Just very quickly, some of these people, Professor Balraman Ravindran is at IIT Madras, and he heads the Wadhwani Center of Excellence for AI and Data Science there. Rahul Panikar is a Stanford PhD in computer science and is now pursuing his, I think, second or third entrepreneurial venture in the area of robotics and healthcare. Sailesh Ramakrishnan is again based in the Bay Area, is a VC who does early stage investments. Then Ramadevi Lanka is from Telangana government, and now I think he's taken up a role with Mighty in Delhi. Manu Rekhi is another Silicon Valley based VC with Inventors Capital. Bhanu Prasad has been involved with AFI for again a long time. He could not join us because he's in the UK in the midst of travels, but he's with TCS. That's Bhanu Prasad. Manu Chopra is based in Bangalore. He runs an organization called Karya. He's been on the his organization was featured on the cover of Time magazine, and is one of the young dynamic leaders in the India AI space. Chai Tumaluri, again a Silicon Valley origin semiconductor engineer who's come back to India, now based out of Hyderabad, and has been participating and guiding us in some of our discussions on AI and impact. So that's the quick summary of the kind of people, and we plan to kind of increase this list of advisors so that they can be available to the social entrepreneurs in the cohort and help them with the journeys. Next, Prasad.
Yeah. Thanks, Sanjay. I guess I can quickly start with the vote of thanks because we
Sure.
have ended the program for today. So as we come for the close of today's session, it's my privilege to give the vote of thanks on behalf of the entire AFI team, right? So first and foremost, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to our speakers and mentors for generous, and of course to the jury member as well for sharing their time and insights, and of course their lived experience in the AI space. A heartfelt thanks to our startups and founders who are the main heroes of this program. I will say without them, of course, the program cannot be started at all. I am also deeply grateful to our partners, advisors, jury members, supporters, who continue to believe in the AFI missions and stand with us in nurturing innovations. I would like to acknowledge the AFI internal team who work dedicatedly behind the scenes. Right. Last thank you to everyone who joined us today and contributed to make this session engaging, time engaging. We hope you are leaving with valuable takeaways for this session. Thanks to all. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Have a
Pratik.
good
everyone.
rest of the evening. Take care.
Thank you all
Thank
for
you.
joining.
Thank you.
Thanks to all for joining. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Hey, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Harold.